Okay, so today is Algebra 1, Chapter 2, Section 4, Apex version. So the first thing we're going to talk about is factoring a difference of squares. So remember back in Chapter 1 of Semester 2, we talked about how anytime you multiplied two conjugates, you got this difference of squares. Well, now we're just going to work it backwards. Okay, so keep in mind that that only works for a difference, for a subtraction problem. So it does not work if there's a plus sign there. Okay, so all we're going to do is we're going to look at our binomial. If we see a binomial and we see that these are perfect squares, so a squared here is 25, well, we can take the square root of that and get 5. Okay, our b squared is 36, and we can take the square root of that and get 6. We also have to keep in mind that the exponent has to be a perfect square. In exponents, that means divided by 2. So can this be divided by 2? So x squared, okay, divided by 2 is x. Okay, so now I'm just going to take my a and b and I'm going to plug it into my formula here. A plus b times a minus b. So I get 5x plus 6 times 5x minus 6. And it doesn't matter if I write 5x minus 6 first, okay? These two can be switched, that's fine, okay, as long as you have both of them written down. So that's it. That is now factored. And let's take a look at this next one. Okay, so this next one is 9x to the 4th. Okay, so 9, the square root of 9 is 3. The square root of x to the 4th, so I'm going to take that 4 and divide it by 2. So I get an x squared. Okay, my b is 81. My square root of 81 is 9. Okay, so now I'm going to write that as 3x squared minus 9 times 3x squared plus 9, or vice versa. 3x squared plus 9 times 3x squared minus 9. Okay, and that's it. That is factoring difference of squares. Okay, but you have to remember it does not work for a plus sign, and you have to take the square roots of these numbers. Now let's go ahead and look at perfect square trinomials. So we also talked about these in Chapter 1, Semester 2. Okay? And we talked about how when we multiplied an a plus b squared, we came up with a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. We didn't actually talk about a minus b squared, but we did do some problems. And all that did was change that sign to a negative. Okay? So let's go on ahead and take a look at some of these. So properties of perfect square trinomials. The first and last terms must be perfect squares. Okay, so in other words, they have to be numbers like 4, 9, 16, right, that we could take the square root of. The first and last terms must both be positive. And then the middle term we have to find 2ab, and it can be either plus or minus. Okay. So let's go on ahead and take a look at some of these examples. So factor x squared plus 8x plus 16. So the first thing I see here, okay, this is a perfect square. Okay, so my a squared, so my a would be x. Okay. My b, 16, the square root of 16 is 4. Okay, and my 2ab then should be 4x times 2, which would be 8x. Okay, and that checks. So now I know that this is really x plus 4 squared. How do I know it's a plus? Because that's a plus right there. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. So the next one, that's a perfect square. So my a is x. That's a perfect square. Square root of 36 is 6. Okay, so now 6x would be 12. Okay, 6x times 2 would be 12x. Okay, since I have a minus there, I know it's going to be negative 2ab. So that's going to be x minus 6 squared. Okay, so that's how we figure out if it's a plus or a minus sign there. Okay, if this is a minus sign, then this is a minus sign. If this is a plus, this is a plus. Okay. And that is it for 2.4. Go on ahead and do your work for 2.4. Let me know if you have questions. Have a great day.